Raw Talk is opinion-based, and everyone is encouraged to do their own research. Welcome into Raw Talk, episode 3, and the question that I have to present this week is, how will acting immediately change your life? How will acting immediately change your circumstances? And what does that actually mean? So, first off, to get started, the last episode on affirmations, it was really important that I cover that one early on. And the reason why is because the more that we can actually pay attention to our thoughts, the better position we're going to be in as far as that self-love, self-respect, and then also holding ourselves accountable. We know the right thing to do. And so I really wanted to make sure to talk about affirmations so that people are actually focused on what they're thinking about. Have you been thinking about what you're thinking about? Please think about it because it's so important. This week, I want to cover, to answer the question, how will acting immediately change your life? Well, I want to talk about this 3 to 5 second rule. And I'm not talking about when food hits the floor. Everybody knows that one. This one is a little bit different. It's acting within 3 to 5 seconds after your intuition tells you what you should do. So there's really 3 parts to this that I'm going to get into. I'm going to talk about our intuition and how important that is to listen to. I'm going to talk about our conscious mind, where we consciously think. I'm going to talk about how that's where complacency comes from and how we try to talk ourselves out of what our intuition said. And then the most important part really is getting down to being dedicated, being committed, and what that looks like, what that means. That might be one of the most important parts here. So to dive into this 3 to 5 second rule, our intuition knows what we need to do in our life. Our intuitions are tied into the subconscious network. It's like a database that everybody has access to. It has the correct answer to any question you would ever ask on this planet. So when we're doing affirmations, when we're focused on our thoughts, when we're thinking about this stuff, we should also be hearing what our subconscious is telling us, what our intuition is telling us. And our intuition, honestly, is like a superpower that we can all unlock. Our intuition is correct, like 99% of the time. Like, you're talking a high success rate, your intuition will lead you to the right place. However, what our intuition tells us to do might not always be easy to accomplish. It might tell us, that we have to break up with somebody. It might tell us that we need to change a diet or we need a career change. Those things are not easy to actually change, and it's going to take time. And it could be difficult to get through. And so sometimes what our intuition tells us might actually be a daunting task where it's like, can I actually do that? Why is my intuition telling me to do that? So yeah, it's super important how that works and to be able to listen to it. A couple examples on things my intuition told me to do today was to walk up the stairs. I live in a high rise and it told me to walk up the stairs, and generally I don't want to do that, right? So that's where the complacent consciousness comes in. Our conscious mind feels like we've worked hard enough. Like, we deserve a break, okay? I've done all this. I don't need to, I just walked 2 miles. I don't need to walk up the stairs. I could take a break. That's like the conscious thought. Or, if it's like, diet oriented, I guess I could still eat that horrible meal that's really unhealthy for me. I deserve that. I've earned that. The consciousness is always going to try to take this easy route and cut the corner and maybe push it off. I need to do my taxes. I need to do my taxes right away. Then why am I procrastinating until like the week before taxes are due? I didn't do that this year, but I'm totally guilty of doing that in the past. So it's important to like kind of see these 2 different minds that work together to form our life. Like, we have the intuition, which is going to tell us exactly what we should do. And like, for me, it was leaving relationships. I had brought that one up. Friendships as well are on the chopping block. Diets, I've cut out alcohol. My relationship with alcohol has changed. My intuition was definitely telling me to get off painkillers for a really, really long time. And I kept fighting that one for 5 years, right? So it could be different. Whatever your intuition is saying, the ask could have a different size. You know, sometimes my intuition's like, hey, start the laundry, and you just get it started. So we got this 3 to 5 seconds that we could live life in, and we have to, first of all, be paying attention to what our intuition is saying. Once you are paying attention to it, then you have to act immediately. You have to act within that 3 to 5 seconds. Yo, that girl's cute on the other side of the bar. Like, I want to go ask for her number. Oh, no, you don't need to go ask for her number. She might have a boyfriend. I'm not good enough. Why would she even want me? Get that conscious thought bullshit out of here. You thought in your head to go ask for that number. Just go ask for it. And if for any reason they're like, no, you know, I do have a boyfriend or I'm not interested, then that's all good, man. That's all good. As long as you try to take the action toward what you know you want to do, then when you're laying on your deathbed, you won't be sitting here laying in regret, because every single time that we don't act upon our intuitive thoughts, we're doing something that is counterintuitive, technically, but we're consciously talking ourselves out of it. And so it's so important. It's so important. I feel like I did explain that pretty well there on like some of the examples, you know, and some things that like our conscious may say is like, you know, you're not good enough, or you're not talented enough, or like, why would you think you can handle that opportunity, or whatever it is. Just shut that version of you up, because they're going to pull you down. We are all our worst enemy when it comes to any of this stuff. And so I want to get to this third part here, which I'm extremely passionate about, and that is being committed and actually being dedicated to listening to your subconscious, or even if it's being dedicated to the affirmations that we talked about last week, or being dedicated to finding your purpose, having a commitment and actually seeing it through. That is one of the most difficult things, because you're going to be doing it every day. You're going to get tested. You're going to be like, nah, I don't want to today. Well, guess what? A lot of times when it's cold out, like, I'm fortunate. I moved into a building. We have a year-round pool. It's an outdoor pool. It is heated, but it's still cold when it's like snowing out there. Like, you know, you don't see anybody else out in the pool, but then my intuition's like, you need to go out there and swim. Swimming for me is one of my favorite workouts. I feel free, you know, I feel like I can fly. I know that I'm going to enjoy it. I know there's so many benefits health-wise that I'll receive from swimming, even though I don't always want to do it. But my intuition's telling me to do it in the middle of winter, and I'm going out there and I'm getting after it. I'm staying committed. I'm staying dedicated. Like, how bad do you want these changes in your life? How bad do you want to move forward? How sick are you of having the same mundane routines? If you start living within 3 to 5 seconds, you live within this 3 to 5 seconds constantly, your life is going to change. I've been implementing this rule for over 2 years now. Completely changed my life. Yeah, sure, sometimes it had me go do something that I was like, you know, at least I tried. Maybe that was wasted effort, but my intuition, maybe that was at 1%. Where the intuition was a little off. But for the most part, it's really given me this, like, all right, right now type of attitude. Does this guest want to come on Discussion Combustion? I don't know. Let's call him right now. Let's send it out right now. Why wait? Do it now. Why wait? Like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Like, we don't get last second back. We don't get this second back. We don't get that last 10 minutes back. I don't get yesterday back. That's gone now. So this is how you're going to really create opportunities for yourself, is by actually listening to yourself, actually diving into your subconscious. You dive in and like really pay attention to it. And then it's crazy how much our minds will try to talk us out of these opportunities. Because once you're starting to pay attention to this stuff, it's wild how easy it is for your conscious to come in and start talking you out of it. And we don't even realize that we're doing this, myself included. Like I said, I've been practicing affirmations for over 20 years. I've been doing this 3 to 5 second rule, act immediately, for over 2 years, and I'm constantly catching myself slipping. Like, I'm constantly catching myself trying to, take the easy route. And I'm like, no, man, you know what to do. And like, I'm going to have a whole episode on this in the future, but doing the right thing for the right reason, even if it's hard, And the biggest part of that is, even if it's hard, that is where you're going to find how committed you are and how dedicated you are to trying to make the changes that you want to change in your life. You know, if it's a health journey, if it's a you're cleansing your apartment, like, you know, cleaning out physical stuff, cleaning your space, making sure that your stuff is tight. Maybe you fell off with your friends and you've been thinking about them, but then you don't call them, but you think about calling them, but then you still don't call them. Like, just pick up the phone and call them. Like, you don't know what's going to happen until you start acting on it. And acting immediately is just, it's changed my life. I think it's so important, but we must stay diligent. We must stay committed to this and stay honest with ourselves. You're going to be the only one that can hold you accountable. I'm the only one holding me accountable, you know? And that's tough. That could be tough some days. Like, you know, that's just how it is. Like, and I don't want to sit here and say it's easy to fall off, but, you know, I'll say it in a way where you have to stay diligent and committed to stay on. And a lot of people aren't willing to make that commitment. Like, we do this until we die. Like, all this stuff that I'm talking about here on Raw Talk, all this stuff is a lifestyle change. This ain't no fad diet bullshit. This is, I'm committed. I'm doing this until I die. There's no finish line to this. There ain't no finish line. And I hope you're ready to treat it like that. Like, you got to do this every single day. Even on the days that you don't want to, you got to do it every single day. And then your life can actually begin to change. And I feel so blessed and fortunate for the circumstances that I've been given, especially with all those stupid decisions and idiot mistakes that I made. I'm so fortunate and I'm so thankful. I'm going to have a side note on that. Like, we should always be counting our blessings every day. Even on your worst day, there is still something to be grateful for. And it's so important to have those kind of things on the forefront. Like, it's kind of like an affirmation. Like, before you fall asleep, what's 3 things that you're grateful for today, that happened today? Where's one area that you can improve? None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We could always improve somewhere. And, you know, we got to be somewhat easy on ourselves too. Like, sometimes, like, we want that change to happen, and then we get discouraged if we don't see it happening. And I want to warn everybody about that, because you might be super excited to get something started. You might listen to your intuition and you're like, oh, that's a fantastic idea. Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds like that will bring life into my life, light into my life. But then all of a sudden, like, you know, you go to start pursuing this thing, and then 2-3 weeks later, like, you're fizzling out. Like, your complacent consciousness is hitting you with all this stuff like, oh, no, you don't need to. Oh, no, it's okay if you put this off. No, screw that. Stick to your guns. Stick to your commitments. Actually be committed and dedicated to this. You start acting immediately, your life will change. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. And you might stumble and fall a little bit along the way, but you got to be committed until death on this. So pay attention to your intuition. It's going to speak to you. And the more you listen to it, the easier it becomes. The easier it becomes. It just becomes easier and easier. Second nature. I'm listening to you. I want to hear you. My subconscious is my partner in success. That is a great affirmation. My subconscious is my partner in success. I am acknowledging that my subconscious, aka intuition, exists. I'm saying that it's a partner. This is a teammate that's going to help me, and it's going to help me succeed by listening to my intuition. By listening to your intuition, you can change your life, and you can do it every 3 to 5 seconds that you exist. This is crazy. I didn't come up with this. I heard it in a motivational talk. Sometimes I'll go in those rabbit holes. I'll listen to, you know, Motiversity or whatever on YouTube, and, you know, I'll just get on that, because I need reminders too, right? I need reminders too. We got to stay present in this pursuit of our best version of ourselves, and you can find that. You already know the best version of yourself, and you just have to start acting immediately on it and sticking to your guns and being dedicated and actually being committed to it every single day, even when you don't want to. And one key point about that is, when you do something that you don't want to do because you know it's the right thing to do, once you've achieved that goal and you've accomplished that, you know that you overcame self-doubt. You overcame talking yourself out of it. So stick to your guns, listen to your intuition, act immediately in 3 to 5 seconds, change your life forever. How will your life change once you begin to act immediately? Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Raw Talk. You can reach me on Instagram at Raw Talk, on Facebook, Arthur Raw, and Raw with an E at the end. That's how we spell it. And then also, you can send an email, therawtalk@gmail.com. You know I'm going to keep coming at you. This is a passion project for me. It means so much. And thank you for everyone who's reached out to give me encouraging words, to talk about how Raw Talk has helped influence your life with only 2 episodes. So now we got the 3rd one in the bank, acting immediately. I'll be back soon. Thank you so much for everyone's support, and let's do it now.